Hey guys and gals, what's up? This is Gimli1357 here, and I'm going to be doing a review for a new game that just came out on the Xbox One, Worms Battlegrounds. That's right, another Worms game has reached the sales plate thing. Worms Battlegrounds is on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and PC, I believe. So we're going to start it up. It's about a it's $25 to get it. So it's currently on the marketplace to download. I believe you can also get it on disc, which is a first for a Worms. But this game is much bigger, which is why it costs $25. It's quite similar to Worms Revolution, except I feel that they fixed some of the things that were wrong with it. Namely, they don't concentrate on the water quite as much, which I thought was cool in Worms Revolution, but it seemed like they concentrated too much on it. They also brought a new announcer, a lady this time, and still has the humorous insults and things towards you. Yes, she will introduce you to each of the areas. So we're going to make a new team. We're going to quickly type in Gamer's Guide. I would be using the smart glass for this, except that the computer that I used for that was recording the video. So you can see you can name your 8 worms yet again. So I'm going to quickly type in Gimli1357, Halo Freak 2550, and then we're going to skip ahead to the last 2. And yes, feel free to message any of these people. I'm pretty sure that they won't mind at all. And yeah. So, there you go. You can see named 8 worms. Obviously, Gimli1357 is the coolest worm. That's why he's first. So, we're also going to go to Customize. And now, this is where you can, choose all your stuff. There's a lot more options than there were in the past Worms games for customizing your worm. So, I looked through quite a bit of them, and I end up on the beard. I really liked the beard. I chose the goggles for a little bit until I saw the 3D glasses again, and I was like, oh, I remember those from all the other Worms games, so I had to pick those again. Again, picked the helmet, but then I decided that that wasn't crazy enough, so I picked the weird whatever the heck this thing is. Looks like a sausage grinder, maybe? I don't really know. Then you can choose your trinket, which I believe is just you'll randomly see your worms hold it or throw it or whatever in the air when they're just standing there. So, of course, got to pick the little fairy wand thing. The gravestone, pretty simple for my pick, was the rocket, but there's a lot of them there. Victory dance, man, there are a lot of victory dances this time around, which is why you see me going through so many of them. Taking a while to decide which one that I wanted to use, because they've added quite a few more, but I eventually decided on the Gangnam style looking one. Gangnam style. And then I choose the sound bank, again going through. I think they've added a few more of these. There's the classic cyber worms. I'll probably use that for my enemy AIs, as I always do. But ending up on, well, I looked at W Factor, which is play on X Factor with, the kind of type of voice that makes you wonder what's gonna happen next. And then I end up on Spoiled Brat, because that just matches the entire team. So yeah, I decided that would be a good voice to go with, and then that's done with the customizing the worms. Then we choose our fort. That was pretty simple. It's the one that's green. You'll get an achievement, by the way, once you customize all aspects of your worms. So yeah, I chose obviously the green one. There's 2 that are green. That one was darker green, although it looks kind of bluish green for some reason in the recording. But anyway, they now have the coolest new thing, a landscape editor. Those of you that have played Worm World Party way back on the PC will remember wonderful landscape editors. I don't know if they've been in any Worms games since then. They might have been in some, but it is an amazing landscape editor. It's simple too, so it's not like If you feel overwhelmed by trying to edit a map in Trials Fusion, don't worry, it's not quite that complex. Yeah, you can choose what theme that you want it to be, so, you know, just what the colors are. Then you choose your brushes, and you can just kind of paint. So you can see you hold down A to paint, and you can choose different sizes, and you can paint different brushes. X deletes. With the same brush, you just hold X, and it'll delete. So yeah, and then there's the fill tool. Found out that that fills just any area that isn't like like if you build a circle and you use fill, you know, like in MS Paint or any other type of thing, and you hit the fill tool, it's kind of like that. But you can undo things really easily, which is nice with the little blue thing up in the corner. You can also add water now. You can either click to drop individual droplets, or you can hold down A to drag a box to make large amounts of water. And the same holding down X will delete the water that is in the box, which is pretty cool. So the new water is, it's back like it was in Worms Revolution, except it's more advanced and has more physics to it now, that you can have things like spewing out water and like pouring and overflow. It's pretty cool. Then you can see you get to set where you want your worms. I realized that the colors and the numbers are for each team, so probably wasn't best to put all of red team right there and then scatter blue team. I think blue team is at a bit of an advantage there. But then you can see you have some objects that you can place as well, like stairs. You can place them down, kind of put them there for just no reason at all. Then it took me a little while to figure out you have to use the bumpers to rotate items. I was looking for another stair that went the other way. You use the bumpers, left and right bumpers, and you will rotate. And you can see this is one of the water physics pouring things that I was talking about that I'm going to put right up here. And you'll see it in action once I actually test this out. But I have it just kind of aimed up in that little corner, which ends up being very, very bad, just random spawn point choosing by the default game. So you don't want to leave it up to the default spotting. You want to put in your own. You also have shapes. The plug just deletes water, so you know that I placed down there. If water goes down there, it'll just drain. So yeah. The shapes just build land. So you can see now the water is where it's supposed to be. And you can see very quickly there is the spewing water out of that little water bucket. And that is the bad spawn that I talked about. Yeah, just kind of decided to randomly spawn a worm right there to die. So I'm going to show you a couple weapons this time around for this review. A couple of the new weapons. One of them, I believe this was in one of the older worms, but I still had no idea how to use it, which is why you will see me not pushing the A button again. Didn't realize that you have to push A again to drop the cows. But yes, once you call it, then you can drop it again. That's why you can't move that arrow off your worm. You can change the direction, but that's it. Then I'm going to throw the Skunk, which is, I don't think has been in any other Worms game. It might have been in some of the other ones that didn't make it onto, you know, Xbox Live Arcade or whatever. But you can see he runs down and just poisons everything and then explodes. So, you know, in classic Worms fashion. So next, I'm going to use the Stick 'em Up, which took me a little while to figure out how it works. But you just go up to a worm and you push A, and it doesn't really work in this little map editor testing thing, but if you were playing a real game, you would be able to steal the things that they have. So instead I go for the Worm Charm, which you can use the Y button to switch between lucky and unlucky. And it basically, if it's on unlucky, it just kind of hurts all the worms and just makes it like they're more prone to damage, where if it's lucky, they're less prone. That I use the equalizer there. I noticed that it made me unpoisoned. I believe it just kind of makes all the teams even, or lowers all the other teams down to your level, or raises your team up to like other health levels. I'm not exactly sure. Then this is the Winged Monkey, which you can use to fly over enemies and then drop a thing on them, whatever that is, a thimble. So you can drop a giant thimble on top of worms if you would so choose. So yeah, you could also see this is the Aqua Pack, which is new. It's like the jetpack, except you shoot water out of the bottom, so you can go over a group of worms and start drowning them. I'd use the winged monkey again, so I dropped another thimble, and I wanted to test out their explosion, so of course, Super Sheep. Classic Super Sheep. Boom! Blows them all up. So you can see the thimbles are explosive when it drops them. This here I'm going to be using is the Whoopee Cushion. I made the mistake of throwing it at an already poisoned worm. Yeah, it just kind of pours out poison, and then, blows up into a poison cloud. So I realized that was possibly the worst worm to throw that at. But you can see here, this is the Super Mortar, I believe it's called, or the Mega Mortar, which didn't realize that you can keep aiming it and it shoots 3 times. So it shoots 3 times and you can move up and down to aim it. You can see that I'm going to do it correct this time with my new worm once I actually get into position. But you can see here, here's me trying it again with a different worm, and you can see it shoots one up, then another, and then finally a third one that I shot straight up. And when they come down, they explode and then send out a bunch of pieces. So it's kind of like the whatchamacallit, the cluster bomb. So you can see using the jetpack, which I think it's unlimited in the map editor. It's not in the regular game though. But to finish this video off, of course, we're going to use a holy hand grenade. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little review. Thank you for watching, and tune in to Gamer's Guide and Gimli1357.com for more achievement tips, reviews, and guides. And go buy Worms Battlegrounds. See you later, folks!